So Eminem's song Smack You, which is a diss to Suge Knight and Ja Rule, has been circulating the internet everywhere. Everyone's been listening to it, reacting to it, and I want to know why it didn't get released. So today I'm going to tell you my theories on why Eminem never wanted this song released. But first, let me just tell you my reaction. I think it's incredible. I think the song is deep. I'm like, whoa, the fact that it even sampled some of Haley, like young Haley's lyrics in it, I'm like, that is intense. And not only is it an intense song that really hits hard on these two people that he's targeting, but it's also a very playable song. There's so much passion, there's so much bars, and I'm like, that actually really hits. And off the rip, I think that's one of my top favorite diss tracks of all time. No offense, Eminem, I'm a big fan, but currently I gotta say Pusha T currently has my #1 favorite diss track, just in terms of playability and bars and how deep he goes at his target. But diving into why this was not released, I will say off the rip, I think it boils down to 3 primary reasons. Understand that Smack You was a song that was originally made in the early 2000s, which would timestamp and make total sense, because at the same time 50 Cent was feuding with Ja Rule. They had their own beefs. I know that it just percolated and kept getting worse, especially with all the Fire Festival shenanigans, and the beef has never gone away, but back then it was really heating up. So Eminem could have been kind of like talking to 50 Cent. They both had beef with Ja Rule, but also Eminem probably had a lot to say, knowing, you know, the relationship that Suge Knight had with Tupac and Biggie, and just knowing the terrible, terrible stuff that Suge Knight did. You know, Eminem probably wanted to like get it out. Keep in mind, Eminem was signed just 5 years prior to that in 1988 to Aftermath Entertainment and Interscope Records, so he was relatively new in the game. So I feel there's 3 primary reasons the song was never meant to be released, and he never wanted to release it, but he did need to get it off his chest, so he made it. Reason number 1. He just got in. He didn't want to get blackballed from the industry. You know, back then, think about people like Diddy, awful human who's now being taken way down. Think of how much of a monster, of a powerhouse he was. So Eminem, smart enough to realize, oh, there's powers that be that he doesn't like, doesn't respect, hates, and knows is evil, but he doesn't know how to throw shade without his career getting destroyed. And again, 5 years in, he did not want that type of heat. 2, much more important than reason 1, he didn't want to die. He is very smart and knows, you know, Suge Knight is the reason, was the big main primary reason that both Biggie and Tupac are dead, if not the sole reason. Let's be very frank about that. And you know, Eminem was aware, and Eminem didn't want to be killed. Eminem didn't want to die, and I would say it's smart, dude. I'm not saying in any ways he does not have balls. He has so many balls that he's smart enough to be like, dude, to keep my balls, maybe I shouldn't release this at this point. Now it's challenging because I'm all for, hey, release the truth, let people know, but it's also I don't want people to die from releasing the truth, so it's conflicting. Reason 3, Eminem has mentioned in some interview, I don't know what interview, that he's never mentioned Suge Knight in a song his entire career. So if he released this track, it would have kind of destroyed that little element. Again, I think reason number 2 is the #1 reason. He didn't want to die, followed by reason 1, didn't want to get blacklisted, but again, reason 3, stay true to his word, didn't want to platform such an evil entity. Now I also found out, shout out to Mag for giving me this information, that in 2024 he made a song called Toy Soldiers, which even though his name is mentioned, it's bleeped out, so therefore there was no released tracks that Eminem has mentioned Suge Knight, and Smack You apparently is the only song that actually has his name in it that, you know, got leaked. It's not released, but it's like, whoa, okay.
Dr. Dre had ongoing beef with Suge, and Ja Rule had his 50 beef, and M had his Benzino beef, and they all were kind of really beefing with like a lot of big people, and it was like pretty much it was a war between Murder Inc. and then there was another song like Toy Soldiers that came out, and when that song came out, it wouldn't have been the same if this diss track had been released, because I feel like he kind of touched a lot of the things that held this song back and suppressed in the song like Toy Soldiers. It was like, this kind of like filled in some blanks in a bridge to that song and the story he was trying to tell in that one that we never really got to see. There was a lot of different diss tracks that came out between Ja and D12 and Obi Trice and Benzino, and Suge Knight never got on a track, I don't believe, but they did release, there was a Death Row diss track on Eminem and Dre. There's a lot of different stuff going on between the labels and the whole stables as a whole.